Hey guys, welcome back to the English Gentleman Gamer with me, Roscoe. Just wanted to do a video been trying to do for a while. Basically, how would we improve Dishonored? Bethesda have all but confirmed there'll be a sequel to this game. Now whether we see it on the PS3 and the Xbox 360, I don't know. Not sure what sort of support they're going to get in the future. I don't know how long it's going to take Arcane Studios to, sit down and think about sequel to Dishonored, so I don't know whether it'll appear on the PS3. I mean, the scope for making the missions and the levels and the worlds bigger and everything on next gen is fantastic. Basically, the amount of stuff you're going to be able to do, the amount of enemies you'll be able to put in the games, different enemies, the whole shooting match. Basically, there's a fucking little river crust up there. Little tip: if you're doing a no-kill playthrough, you can still kill these river crusts without. I prefer the explosive bolt, even though it does attract a lot of attention. You'll see the bodies lying around. I was trying to do this final Brigmore Witches mission stealthily the first time round, and I got a bit fucking pissed off getting spotted. So last night when I recorded this, I just went on a bit of actually, these ones I'd knocked out, in fairness. The ones lying on the floor there, I'd knocked all them out. There's a building you get to the left of where I'm looking now, and you can basically snipe a load of them from the roof without them spotting you. But I did end up killing a few, as you'll see shortly. Just because I got pissed off. Trying to find. I need to do the mission once, as sneakily as possible. But kill if I have to, just to find out where the fucking hell I'm going. This particular mission is exceptionally hard. That statue you just saw for a brief second there will actually spot you. Basically, it's not actually a true statue, it's alive. It just doesn't move very much. And the previous mission, the Dead Eel Gang or whatever it's called, that's really easy compared with this. It's just a bit time consuming, but it's not particularly difficult. Now this, I thought I'd been through here and cleared this bit out, but apparently not. So this girl gets, I just thought, right, fuck this, she spotted me, so this is when I started killing them really. This one I fucked up here. And I hadn't running out of bolts, which I was quite surprised at. But anyway, getting back to the main point, how do you improve on Dishonored? I think the artwork and the style that Arcane have put in the game is fine. I can only imagine a few new areas. Presumably I haven't seen all of Dunwall as the host city, or maybe even take it somewhere else. I mean, do you put it in the future? Because obviously designed to be fairly in the past. Obviously, Corvo's got these magical powers and stuff, but the other kind of I thought I should have killed it then one shot. The other kind of technology, boats mainly, and the odd car knocking around, does appear, Victorian basically. So could you put it in the future? I don't know. You're going to be in the next game. You're going to be some long distant relative of Corvo's that goes, has the same sort of shit in the future. I don't know. I'd like to see a return, I think, to Dunwall. I've been keen to. These skinless fucking dogs are without mercy as well. If you kill them or stun them, they just kind of collapse like one of them skeleton trooper things in Bloody Mario, and they do eventually come back to life. You can kill them. Basically, you've got to crush the skull with your sword. Is the only way to actually permanently get rid of the fuckers. There's another statue that will grasp me up. Here I'm just sniping witches again. There is a door, and a little marker there, just sort of that. Well, I don't know how she spotted me from so far away, but I still managed to get the drop on her. You can go in that door, but it was a bit obvious to me, and I knew there'd be another way in here. But this is the first time I'd got this far, by the way. I had a bit of a fanny around the other day. This was a bit more of a serious attempt to actually finish this level. I'm trying to avoid them. Them dogs are bloody psychic, I tell you. This is on the hardest difficulty I could actually select at the time, which isn't, I think it's very hard or expert or something. There is a more difficult one going to come out called Master Assassin once I finish this. So it'll take me about 10 minutes to finish this tonight, then I will do a proper playthrough. I may just end up putting the Brigmore Witches as one long video rather than 3 separate videos. I didn't really know what I was doing at this point, but it's obvious this is why I'm saving it, obviously. Also because there tends to be a lot of them dogs in the graveyard. Excuse me. Hence the reason why I save it a couple of times in this video. But this actually turns out to be what I was looking for. It tells you to go over there for the graveyard, but it's not a bollocks, you need to be here. I happened to have picked up the switch. I didn't do it on purpose, but I had picked up the switch. so I can now go in the crypt. And again, I get spotted by another statue downstairs in a minute. Anyway, back to the point of the video. Weapons-wise, I'd like to see a bit of a change up in the weapons, especially on the next gen, and you've got a bit more scope to play with in terms of memory and stuff. I like to think we can do a bit more. You know, maybe do you go with a full-size sword, like a samurai sword? I don't know. I mean, do you even put Dishonored in a bloody feudal Japan or something? I mean, that would be quite interesting. I'm sure there's, you know, stuff like Tenchu does that sort of thing. You basically, you know, you're attacking, in a couple of occasions, you're attacking fortified establishments and shit like that. So, anyway, you know, the knife, you only really get one blade, and it's Corvo's blade or Dowd's blade. They're kind of short swords, basically. Appears to be some sort of ritual in there, because there's like mainly fairly burnt candles there, so I presume they do some sort of sacrifice type shit. So again, because I've never been here before, I'm just looking around. It's not that I'm deliberately wasting time. I knew that woman was going to spot me, but I've already killed a few people, so always ransack those if you can. There's always a couple of freebies in them. I knew this bitch would see me, but I wanted to go for the bone charm that I knew was in here, so there we go, she's seen me and whatever. Grass me up to the other witches. Yeah, the blade. I think there's a certain amount of scope to play with, or introduce a couple of new blades. It may or may not have to have a tactical element to it. I mean, obviously, if you had a samurai sword, it's got a longer reach, but it's a bit slower to deploy or whatever. The magic powers. I mean, they're basically, because of magic, the limit is your imagination. I think you could possibly tweak blink to make it go further, but that just make the game a bit easier, really. I quite like the way the balance of the blink. I mean, you can usually get through. To be honest, sneaking through the missions is usually quicker than trying to kill people, but trying to find everything. Cause obviously, as soon as you start killing people, you tend to attract the attention of others. So you can generally get through it quite quickly just by the sneaky method. I'd like to see that change. I've been watching a video, or a series of videos by a guy doing this nihilist, that's the right way of pronouncing it. This is the only technique I've found of dealing with these witches, or the funniest one. They're quite fucking quick, to be honest, and they're quite bloody lethal as well. So I find that bending time, I should really buy the stop time thing, really, to be honest. But anyway, stop bending time so you can get a couple of shots in the face is usually quite good. Talking of shots, the gun is the one thing I'd really like to see change. I'm not sure you could really get away with putting. I mean, it's basically a little pirate musket you've got now. I mean, I accept that at the moment you can only use one hand, but I'd like to see something where he has a change up in the guns, basically. Either, you know, some sort of long distance rifle, or double barrel shotgun, or a blunderbuss, or something like that would be nice. What else would I like to see? Yeah, going back to magic powers. You know, it's magic powers, you can do what you want there. Again, the limits your imagination. I think the blink arguably is a bit overpowered, because you can generally blink your way through most situations without seeing anyone. Sit there, don't rescue that guy. I tried to, and he ends up getting killed. Sorry if I've just ruined it for you there. Weapon wise, you've got stun grenades, arc mines. I mean, what could you really add in, you know, remote? Could you have some sort of deployable camera? I don't know. It's magic at the end of the day, so there's no limit on what you can do. I mean, you've got void gaze, for Christ's sake, you can see through walls. The other thing I crossed my mind, would it be remotely possible to be able to blink through a wall? Or would that make the game far too easy? I think it probably would make it far too easy. I think the biggest difference I'd like to see is actually bigger maps, because as big as each area is, you don't actually, you know, without having to reload stuff, there isn't actually that much to do. You know, it's not really on a par with Grand Theft Auto. And I think you could put more. And the side missions aren't particularly. I mean, apart from the Granny Rags one, they aren't really side missions. They're just like kind of extra objectives. Like there's one in this one that when you buy the favours at the beginning. I didn't realise that trying to talk to this guy would trigger this bloody witch turning up. I'm not sure if I did her in here or not. So I'll go back to slow time, because I've not upgraded it yet. My favourite. Pull the gun out, point it right at her face. Boom! And she still took a fucking round to the face, bitch. Yeah, I'd like to see bigger areas, I suppose, with a bit more to do aside from the actual mission. Because you can, especially with the Granny Rag stuff, you can do quite a lot of faffing around in that mission. It doesn't really get replicated in the game ever again. There's bits and bobs you can do, like you can save certain people at certain points in the game to get extra achievements, you know, like another little tick, but there's no material difference to your progression, basically, for doing it. I mean, I like the way the runes work on upgrading your powers and stuff, although I'd like to think that if you... I'm sure you must be able to get everything you want, power-wise, if you did collect all the runes. I think some of them are on occasion quite hard to get, but that's possibly a good thing. I think graphically, in terms of how good it actually looks, you know, the sharpness and the quality of the graphics, I've not found any glitches or anything like that, I've not found any exploits. And I do tend to bounce around the maps quite a lot before I do it properly. I have to say, compared with the vanilla game, the two proper DLC, I mean, I'm excluding that Dunwall City Trials thing, because there's only a couple of missions on there that I actually found interesting, the rest were all shit, to be honest. But the last mission on Knife of Dunwall and this mission are exceptionally difficult compared with the vanilla game. It's basically to do with the enemies, because when you're going back in as all your assassins are against you as Dowd, they not only are they hyper vigilant, but they teleport, and these witches do it as well. And you only really encounter a couple of witches in the previous mission that fucking dart around and stuff, and they're fairly predictable because only two of them in this particular room that you go into. These witches in this house, because there's fucking loads of them, and they move around like nobody's business. I mean, you'll be standing there thinking you're safe as houses, and suddenly one teleports right in front of you, which can fuck things up, obviously. So you tend, you know, your aim, if you're doing it stealthily anyway, you've got to try and stay in cover or, you know, up on a shelf. For some reason, they don't see you on shelves. Like this one here, I'm standing right next to him, she didn't fucking clock me. I managed to drop her. I mean, sleep darts are your friend if you're doing it stealthy anyway. I'm sure I bump into another one in a sec. But I digress. So I'd like to see, you know, the weapons is the one thing that sort of springs to mind. Your powers, arguably, are a bit overpowered. You know, no pun intended. You've got, I think Blink makes life quite easy. Although on this one I've noticed there's a lot of areas you can't reach with Blink, even if you upgrade it and you go up to Blink level 2, which I don't tend to bother with, because in my opinion there isn't much of a difference. But there's quite a lot of areas on this map anyway, certainly outside this house you can't get to with... see, there's one there. I mean, stupidly, I wasn't even fucking looking, to tell you the truth. But again, get the old bend time out, smoke this fool. I mean, this is bend time, and she's moving really quick. These witches are, you know, if you get caught by them, you either got to bend time straight away or fucking run, because they've got a good arsenal of weapons as well. So I don't think the magic powers, I think, need weakening, if anything. It can be quite easy to get through this game without being spotted and without killing anyone. I think they need to work on the not killing anyone thing. I mean, you get a trophy for doing it, but I'd like it to be a bit more difficult, because to be honest, the vanilla game, you can get through most of the missions without any real trouble, without killing anyone. I think they need to kind of, certainly on if you went for the expert one, they need to start slapping in a few guards here and there. Because in this mission in particular, there's a lot of there's them fucking dogs that are absolutely evil. They can spot you from fucking miles away, and once they start chasing you, it's very, very difficult to get away. I mean, I've noticed one thing on most levels, you can see, this sounds a bit stupid, but you can see what you're doing. But on this particular mission, certainly in the area where the video started, a lot of the places you would naturally jump up to and try and use to get around the map or the area, they've got a lot of foliage around them, basically, for want of a better word, and you can't actually see what you're standing on. So it makes it very difficult getting to the edge of, say, the top of a building to you know, judge your next jump and stuff. And it also makes it, the dogs don't seem to have the same problem, and it's challenging, basically. Yeah, again, I think this is where I get this witch fucking blinks. She teleports right in front of me. And I fuck up sleep darting her. The last 2 sleep darts I had and I fucking missed. So this is why I decided to fucking smoke her ass with my last 3 bullets. See, she's moving really quick there, and they do this like 3-pronged spear thing right in your face. Anyway, if you get caught by it, it's fucking game over quite quickly. So just coming to the end of the video now, guys. So just a few thoughts there. I'm gonna see if any other good ideas pop into my head. I'll make a note of them and bring you a video. But I just got wasted there, so we'll call it a day there. But thanks for watching, guys. Take it easy, and I'll see you later. Thanks for listening. Bye.